What's up, world? What's up, internet? I'm Deanna Jean Pierce. This is my YouTube channel, and today we need to talk about narcissism and narcissists. People are talking a lot about narcissism and narcissistic personality disorder um, in the world these days, and I would like to give my perspective on it. By the way, I did not make a video that I wanted to make when Dan and I were in the Twin Cities last. Um, we went thrift shopping, and this t-shirt, Unique, was one of my thrift finds, and I just love this. So, yeah, just putting that out there. I need to make more videos. I love making videos. According to AI Overview, the term narcissism was coined by the German psychiatrist Paul Nahi. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, in 1899, building upon a concept previously suggested by British psychologist Havelock Ellis. There is a lot of information about narcissism out there, and I'm not going to go too into depth in this specific video about narcissism. The AI overview on Google says that the concept of narcissism originates from the Greek myth of Narcissus, a handsome youth who rejected all romantic advances, scorned the nymph Echo, and fell fatally in love with his own reflection in a pool of water. If you do your own research, there are a lot of people who can talk more in depth about like the history of narcissism and specific things. If you want to really nerd out about it, you can get books about it. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a psychologist. Um, but I want to just give my own unique perspective um, in my life, my opinion, my feelings on it. So, my take on narcissism is that um, anyone can slip in and out of narcissism and narcissistic traits, just like you can slip in and out of Christ and Antichrist energy. Anyone at any time can slip in and out of really any energy, if we're being honest. You can have an experience of dealing with narcissism through anyone, through yourself, through a romantic partner, a friend, a boss, a family member, a coworker. It could be anybody. In my opinion, when this happens, when you encounter narcissism, my best recommendation is pointing it out to the other person and sticking up for yourself. There's also a flower, a white flower, known as a narcissus. Narcissus flowers can also be other colors as well. I just predominantly know them to be white. On AI Overview, it says the narcissism flower is the narcissus, widely known as the daffodil, jonquil or paperwhite, which gets its name from the Greek myth of a youth who fell in love with his own reflection. In the modern world we're living in, it is 2026, and there is an uprising of self love on the planet, and that is a beautiful thing. However, too much focus on only self love can turn into narcissism if you're not careful. Self love is extremely important, but like I said, if you're not careful, self love can turn into feeling like you're more important than everyone and everything around you. At all points in time, we should all be focused on what is in everyone's best and highest interests. While you come first, you're not more important to God than anybody else. And your needs and wants aren't more important than what is best for the whole. AI Overview says that narcissism is a psychological trait and condition defined by a grandiose sense of self importance, a lack of empathy, and an excessive need for admiration. It exists on a wide spectrum, ranging from normal, healthy self regard to severe personality pathology, and that is from Psychology Today. One thing that I can tell you about narcissism is that people who have narcissistic personality disorder or lean towards narcissism, um, one way you can recognize them is they will treat total strangers way better than they will treat you. So, for example, someone will go out and treat a random person at the grocery store way better than they treat their own family. And the reason for this, or one of the reasons for this, is because when they interact with that stranger and they love the stranger and they get that boost of interacting and loving someone, that's easier than actually building the healthy long-term relationships in your family. So if you notice that someone treats total strangers that they don't have that depth of relationship with way better than they treat you when you've had a relationship for years, that's a sign of narcissism. It's actually a sick game that someone is playing on you. They want you to see how loving they can be to someone who's not you, to try to make you feel bad, try to make you wonder, what am I doing wrong? What's wrong with me? Why do I see, why do you treat everyone else that you don't know that well better than me, who you've known for however, whatever length of time? Normal, healthy, loving people treat everyone equally, and the relationships they've had the longest time investing in should be treated the best, because that's normal and healthy. Like if you've had a best friend for 20 years, that relationship's probably going to get priority over a stranger. And now, if you, I know people are going to start nitpicking. I know there's a lot to talk about with a topic this big as narcissism. I think the world needs to learn more about narcissism. The world needs to learn more about everything. No subjects should be taboo. Um, Now, if someone is like, if you have a friendship of 20 years and they start abusing you, well, then of course you're going to treat a new stranger who's loving you better. But what I'm talking about is when we're talking about like actual narcissism, they want to hide the bad parts of their personality, the abusive parts of their personality, and they'll only show it to certain people that they think they can get away with. And then to strangers, to other people, they'll act one way to create this image of what they want to be perceived like. Narcissists want to dominate situations, and they always want the attention on them, what they're doing, how they're feeling. And once again, healthy self-esteem and knowing that um, you're the most important person in your life, that's very different. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who dominate everything, and they'll turn, like, just for an example, let's say it's your birthday. A narcissist on your birthday will make everything about them. When it's time to celebrate you, they'll turn all of the energy and focus on them. Um, Billie Eilish does a good job of talking about narcissism. She has a song "Happier Than Ever," and the lyric, "You ruined everything good. Always said you were misunderstood. Made all my moments your own. Just fucking leave me alone." So that line, "made all my moments your own," that describes narcissism. When it's your turn to have the spotlight, a narcissistic person or narcissistic people will make it all about them. When it's your turn to be supported, narcissistic people, selfish people, will just They don't want to support you. They don't want to give back to you. They don't ever want you to have the spotlight. Um, and what I know, like, there's this can sometimes be a heated topic. Like I've said, there are lots of videos and information out there about narcissism. I'm not like an expert in narcissism. I just think we need to talk about it more. It can be disciplined. It can be disciplined. It can be pointed out. Um, but if you give someone like endless chances and it doesn't change, then the relationship has to change. When it's your turn to be in the spotlight and someone turns all of the attention and energy towards them, it's like if it's like going to your birthday party and someone's opening up all your presents, and someone, right as you're about to blow out all your birthday candles, someone comes in and blows them out, and you don't get to blow out your own birthday candles, and it's your turn to shine, and everyone else already got their turn, but you never get your turn. Then you're dealing with extremely selfish people or a selfish person. Narcissistic people are always waiting for more from you. They're in a constant state of expectation where nothing you do, no amount of your time and energy, attention is good enough. It's never good enough. They always want more from you, but they don't want to give anything to you. They only see you in a manner of like, how can I um get more from you? I want you to praise me more. I want you to do more for me. Essentially, if you're having a relationship with a narcissist, whether it be a friend, coworker, boss, family member, romantic partner, anyone, even a teacher in school potentially, um, what's really going on is a massive imbalance where they only take, but they don't give back. Um, on AI overview, some core warning signs of narcissism are lack of empathy. They do not care about your feelings. They ignore your pain and dismiss what you go through. There's zero accountability. They never say sorry, refuse to admit mistakes, and they always blame you. Gaslighting, they lie or twist the truth to make you doubt your own memory and sanity. Grandiose ego, they act like they are better than everyone else and deserve special treatment. Love bombing, they shower you with fake, fast affection at first to hook you in before treating you poorly later. I'm sure we're all familiar with the book or the movie It Ends With Us. The book It Ends With Us is by Colleen Hoover, and it explores narcissism and domestic violence and abusive relationships. A narcissist is always in a state of, what are you doing for me? 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 When's my next present? When's my next compliment from you? When are you going to do more for me? But then when it's your birthday, your turn to receive, your turn to be supported, your time in the sun, a narcissist is not going to let you have that time in the sun. Narcissists literally believe the entire world revolves around them and that they can't really do anything wrong. At the end of the day, narcissists are just extremely selfish people. Self-love is one thing, selfishness is something else. The last thing I'm going to talk about in this specific video is what is known as the narcissistic discard. The AI overview says a narcissistic discard is the sudden and painful ending of a relationship by a person with narcissistic traits marked by the removal of attention, empathy, and respect. It typically follows an idealization and devaluation phase, driven by the person's need for new validation rather than anything you did. So, why it happens: loss of supply, you no longer give them the praise, control, or energy they want. New supply found, they have moved on to a new person to start the cycle again. Boundaries set, you started to stand up for yourself or ask for basic fairness. What it feels like? Sudden coldness. They cut you off with no warning, closure, or care. Blame shifting, they rewrite the story to make you look like the bad person. Deep confusion, you are left questioning your own reality and self-worth. So, a narcissistic person, when they don't feel like you're giving them what they need, they will just discard you. Now, this is different from people who just kind of outgrow relationships. Um, but that's another thing I want to talk about in another video, is that there's like an epidemic of people ending relationships with people on the planet these days, and just chopping off relationships. And I don't think that's healthy. I think most relationships can be healed, and all relationships are destined to be healed. I believe that on the planet these days, people end relationships way too quickly, um, and it's not helpful. It's not helpful. If you naturally outgrow a relationship, that's one thing. Um, but relationships are extremely valuable. They're part of your abundance and wealth, and that's your support system. If someone ends their relationship with you just because they're not giving you, or you're not giving them what they think they want, that's really abusive and fucked up. You are a human being. You have your own life to be living. Your needs need to be met. And when you are around really selfish people, they don't pour into you the way you pour into them. We are all human beings trying to coexist on one planet. And my advice for everyone is to discipline narcissistic traits in yourself and in other people. At the end of the day, when a narcissist can't control you, they want nothing to do with you. Now, for anybody watching this, you may know that I'm married to Dan Thalen, and I don't want anyone to think that I'm talking about him secretly, because that's not what I'm talking about. Dan and I have both loved and supported each other equally for our entire relationship. And even though we've worked through a lot of things, we've worked through toxicity, we've both worked through narcissism, we've both worked through abuse together, we are always partnering in our healing. And I don't want anyone to watch this and think, oh, you're secretly talking about Dan. No. I am talking about anyone. Anyone can have narcissism, okay? And it can be disciplined in relationships. You need to learn boundaries. You need to learn how to call people out for this. Anyone can become narcissistic and anyone can heal narcissism, but it has to be their choice. They have to be willing to look at what is going on and actually receive feedback from other people. If you find that um nothing in any relationship, if it never gets to be about you, your birthday is never celebrated but their birthday is always celebrated, like they dominate everything, they don't even let you speak. They don't ever care about your story or your side of the fence. It's all about them, it's always about them. That's narcissism. You never want to feed a narcissistic person. You don't want to feed their narcissistic energy. You want to discipline it. All children of God are 100% equal. No one is more important to God than anyone else. God does not love any one child of God more than another. And so it's extremely important that when you're embarking on a journey of self-love and having relationships, that you make absolute sure that your relationships are all both ways. If you're always putting in the effort, you're always reaching out, you're always trying to make amends, you're always giving, and they're always, the other person's in a constant state of expectation. Ooh, give me more good things. Give me more good things. I don't want to give anything back to you, but give me more good things. You have to call that out. That's not okay. You are not, you don't exist. You weren't created to be used and abused by other people. One last thing I want to talk about with narcissism is that they will do what is known as a smear campaign, which is they want everyone to dislike you. Instead of letting everyone make up their own mind about you, they want everyone to dislike you. And so they will talk to everyone you know and make sure that your reputation is ruined, instead of letting everyone talk to you themselves and make up their own mind. Because, like, when we're talking about severe narcissistic personality disorder, we're talking about really severe, almost criminal narcissistic personality disorder, then that person doesn't just want to fuck with you, they want to destroy you. And so they will go out of their way to make sure everyone else you know doesn't like you or love you or support you or want to talk to you anymore. People who genuinely love you, your birthday is all about you. When it's your turn to win and succeed, you get the spotlight. Um, you're not just taking pictures and videos of other people, they're also taking pictures and videos of you. Um, you're not the only one trying in the relationship and giving in the relationship, they're trying and giving back to you as well. Like I said, this is a really massive topic, and I think the world wants to talk more about narcissism. And it's safe. It's safe to talk about anything. No subject should be taboo. I would love to hear your thoughts about narcissism. Go ahead and make your own videos about narcissism. Have you ever interacted with a narcissist? And I just want to reiterate one more time, I'm not like secretly talking about Dan Thalen right now. I know what this sounds like. I know what it appears like. That's not what I'm doing. I'm talking about um just like I made a video about how anyone can slip in and out of Antichrist energy. Anyone can become narcissistic or heal narcissism. It can happen to anyone. And that's why we all need to talk about it and be aware of it so that we can call it out in ourselves and each other. A narcissist is going to just make everything about them, when in a loving society, a loving planet, everyone is just collaborating and partnering and everyone gets loved perfectly. The resources and energy of anything doesn't just get sucked to one person or one small group of people. Everything is evenly distributed. Everyone has everyone is perfectly supported and gets everything that they need, and no one is, like I said, just sucking up all of the resources of anything. Unfortunately, since I am an empath, I'm a highly sensitive person, and I'm an extremely giving person, I have interacted with a lot of people who have that narcissistic personality comes out. because I I have a very hard time understanding when I'm being manipulated. I'm a very innocent person. And it's really hard for me to even admit if someone's manipulating me. I encourage you, if you're watching this, if you've ever had an experience with a narcissist, I what I would encourage you to do is um, widen your social support and manifest friends who give back to you as much as you give to them. Um, and I would work with a therapist, honestly, um, who can help you remember that your life is supposed to be all about you. You don't exist to constantly serve other people. You get to be, you get to receive just as much as other people get to receive. Don't let people take advantage of you and your generosity, your kindness, and your empathy. I know it's also another topic for another day, but empaths and narcissists can sometimes attract each other and do attract each other because of that dynamic of only taking and only giving. Um, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video. Once again, I wanted to make it very clear because I know how people's brains function. I am not secretly talking about my husband right now. This is not me trying to secretly and subtly throw him under the bus. Dan and I have worked through a lot of stuff in our relationship, and we've both had narcissistic periods and moments. We call each other out and we heal through everything together. In truth, Dan and I are both deeply giving and loving people, and we just have a lot of hurt that we've been working through. The reason I'm making this video is simply to educate consciousness, because I have encountered narcissistic people. I have seen narcissism. I have, it's dangerous. When it's not called out, it can be extremely dangerous. And anyone can be like this. Even a toddler can be narcissistic. Even a really, like, an elderly person could potentially be narcissistic. It's really just when you're trying to make everything about you instead of the whole. In all your relationships, make sure that your goals are being met, not just the other person's. Some examples of narcissists in, like, the media, like, if we want to talk about fictional characters, Regina George from Mean Girls was a narcissist. Miranda Priestley from The Devil Wears Prada. And once again, this is all about power dynamics. People who are narcissists would rather destroy a situation than not have total control. It's one thing if you're, like, holding the God or holding the vision for a situation, then everyone should be in support of that. But in heaven, we we are all equal and God moves through all of us equally. I want people to be very careful because you can you don't want to, like, go around just calling people narcissists, but you can point out, if you educate yourself, you can point out when someone is becoming narcissistic or leaning narcissistic. At the end of the day, in every situation, you need to make sure that love is being served and everyone is being equally supported. If that's not happening, then something is wrong. Thank you for watching, and if you're interested in this kind of content, please subscribe.